Hey, welcome back everyone. My name is Jas and today I'm talking about the right order of preparation for FRM part 2. And just before we begin with the video, I would like to just take this opportunity to introduce you to my website, which is www.vardeez.com. You come here and you scroll down, you can see there's a sample kind of videos for yourself. If you're preparing for part 2, you can just enroll for this. It's absolutely free. There's also free videos on my YouTube channel for part 2. Maybe you can consider those videos as well. That's really going to help you. And over here we have a package for November 2023. It's going to be a live online via Zoom. So it's going to be a Zoom session videos for November 2023. You have the opportunity to attend that if you're giving in November 2023, and if you're appearing for May 2024, then you can consider this package as well. You will have the access till May 2024, so you can at least begin your preparation as soon as possible. Right, so here we're going to be talking about the right order of preparation for FRM part 2, and we have for FRM part 2 we have 5 books. Okay, there are total 96 chapters overall. Yes, it is a lot. The content is huge and it's extremely vast, so we have to cover up 96 chapters, and that is spread across these 5 books. Now, as per the weightages, you have there's a book 1 which is market risk 20%, then there is a book 2 which is credit risk, and that's again 20%. Book 3 is operational 20%. Book 4 is the liquidity risk 15%, and finally there's a book 5 which is book 5 here and here as well. Now these are both the combinations, they are actually combined, so 15% and 10%, so overall it's a 25% weightage. So let's start with what you should be preparing. The very first thing that you should go with is book number 1, that is market risk. I'll let you know the chapters that we have in just some time, but this is a natural order of progression that is going to be very helpful from your FRM part 1 to part 2. So obviously you should go with the market risk. Then you should start with book number 5, which is risk management and investment management. I'll let you know why this makes a lot of sense. Then you should go with book number 2, which is credit risk. The weightage is 20%. And then book number 3, which is operational risk. Okay. And then book number 4. And then finally, which is absolute theoretical in nature, that is current issues. This is something that you should leave it to the end so that you have a better retention power at the end, because this is purely theoretical. Okay, so you can also do one thing. You can do some alternative thing as well. You can maybe take the operational risk after completing book 4. So maybe this is the first, second, third, then this is the fourth, and probably then you can take this operational risk and then move on to this current issue. So that's another alternative, but it's absolutely your choice. Whatever sequence that you feel that is right for you, go ahead. But this is just a guidance from my side that I feel that in my live classes I'm going to be following this particular approach, and I feel this is a best thing that you have. Also, one suggestion that I would like to give you is that do not start like 4 chapters from market risk, 3 chapters from credit risk, 5 chapters from operational risk. I think you will not have a mental satisfaction like you've not completed even one single book, right? Half here, half there, so on and so forth. That's not going to give you much more kind of thing that like how much have you completed so far. So it's not giving you that number satisfaction. But let's say if you complete market risk, you know that okay, you've completed 20% of the curriculum, and then you can just practice specifically the market risk type of questions. Similarly, once you complete this, you're done with 35% of the curriculum. Once you're done with this, okay, 55% of the curriculum. So this way you can have a better approach and a more focused and much more dedicated. And you can also go for revision, right? It makes sense, like once you complete market risk, you can revise it, you can just skim through it. That also serves the purpose. Okay, let's go ahead. Why book number 1 makes sense. Okay, let's see the chapters here. These 5 chapters, they talk about value at risk, which you already are familiar with your FRM part 1. So I think this is a natural progression from level 1. Absolutely, you must follow book number 1. And these chapters, it talks about the correlations, and these things talks about the interest rate and the term structures. So I think you are pretty much familiar with these kind of topics. You know what are the correlations and all the other things about correlation. So it's going to be very much relatable for you, and I think you'll be able to adapt and finish this thing. So that's the reason book number 1 is the first thing that you should start. Then you should start with book number 5. Now the reason is twofold. It gives you are able to complete 15% of the curriculum, and if you look at liquidity risk management, that is also 15%. The weight is 15%. But you look at the number of chapters. Here you have 11 chapters, and there you have 19 chapters, but the weightage is the same. So it does make sense to start with this. Not only the number or the weightage thing, but if you look at the chapters here, these chapters, they talk about the CAPM. Okay, so something you know about the CAPM, the APT model, the Pharma French model, then you have the mutual funds, then you have the hedge funds here, so on and so forth. So all these things, the information ratio, yes, another thing, the information ratio, the Sortino ratio, the tracking error, something that you've learned as part of the portfolio management in level 1, all these things are applied here. So obviously those concepts are fresh in your mind. You can just complete this thing as well. Then moving on to book number 2, this is that you need to start as after you complete market risk and the risk management and investment. Now this thing talks about something that you've seen, like it is very much quantitative, I would say that, yet it is qualitative as well. So a lot of models that you will see throughout the Merton model and so on and so forth. So it's very quantitative, but as I say that you will see some theory chapters as well down the line. So it's very important, very crucial for the purposes of FRM part 2, but very interesting as well. But this is something, the progression that you should be. Okay, then we have book number 3, which is the operational risk, 24 chapters. Yes, it is quite huge. And after you complete 55% of the curriculum, then you should be taking another 20%. And these are the chapters, something that it talks about the risk and everything from level 1. Definitely you will see something as well. You will see the stress testing and more of regulations of pertaining to the Basel regulations, right? So this is more has to do with that. And operational risk, obviously, if you are done with the market risk and the credit risk, these things will show up here as well. So you should know the market risk concepts, credit risk concepts. That is what it's gonna be, it's gonna be shown here as well. So I think obviously it makes utmost sense to go through these things first and then come back to this operational risk. And then once you complete this thing, I think your the big elephant in the room is taken care of. And then you should be taking the liquidity and the treasury risk management, 19 chapters, fairly reasonable. And I would say that it is also interesting to learn about the liquidity risk. So this is the thing that you should be taken. And after this, the left out is the book number 5, which is current issue. Now these things talks about a lot of times about what is happening in the current financial markets. So you'll be learning about machine learning, AI, all these things, the blockchain, inflation, and all climate related risks. So I think it's a very interesting subject and should be taken at the last. You'll have a better retention power to retain it for a longer period of time. So do it at the very end. So with that being said, we are done with this particular thing. Whatever assistance or guidance that you need for FRM part 2, you can reach out to me on my email as well, which is info@vardeez.com. There's a WhatsApp number. You can call me on that number as well, not a problem. And anything else that you have, you please post down in the comments. Thank you so much for your time as well. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, consider subscribing. Thank you.